Hi, my name is Chris Arsenault. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and this is my submission for the It Gets Better project. I know I'm a little late to the game, but I figured, what the hey, might as well. Um, I guess I'll start with my story. I guess I first started thinking about my sexuality when I was in 8th grade, and I actually was homeschooled 2 years prior to 8th grade, and I missed the whole coming of age with the guys in the locker room at the gym and whatever. And then I got there, and they started, that's when I was first called a faggot or gay or whatever. And I don't think they realized, or even to this day know, that I am gay, and that locker room talk is probably what forced me to not come out until I was 23 this past year. I lived in denial for probably until I was 18. I dated girls and whatever, but I was still, I was still acting in the theater troupe, and I was around sort of that creative side, and I was singing in the chorus, and I was, meeting all these people, and people that, knew I was gay back then that didn't say anything, or, I was called names all through high school, and just denied everything because it was easier to deny it than to actually come to grips with my sexuality back then. And I did the stereotypical, oh, I hate my life. I went through therapy. I went through, all of these different iterations of what's wrong with me. Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel so crazy? I took sleeping pills, trying to kill myself. It was stupid of me. It was stupid of me to deny myself the ability to express myself and to acknowledge the fact that I was different from everyone else, because I was afraid. I was afraid that being different was going to be the end. And it wasn't. It's not. It was coming to that conclusion that being different is not the end of your life, but the beginning of your life is probably the hardest thing to come to grips with. I grew up in a very conservative Baptist family. My dad was a deacon in the Baptist church, and my mom sang in the choir and taught Sunday school, and I sang in the choir, and my sisters, we were very, very much part of the church, and I'm no longer a part of the church because of my religious beliefs. But I was petrified that I was going to lose my family because I was gay, because of their religious beliefs. And to my wonderment, my parents have not only totally embraced my lifestyle, my sexuality, they defend me on a regular basis to their friends, to the point that they've lost friends over it. And I know my personal friends who have lost friends over their stance about being different. And I think that if I had allowed myself to acknowledge the fact that I was gay sooner, I don't know what my life would look like now. I know what my life looks like now. I mean, I have a wonderful life. I have I have loving friends and family, and I'm not afraid to walk around my neighborhood. I'm not afraid to be me, and I'm not afraid to, and I'm lucky that I live in a neighborhood that I can do this. I'm not afraid to, be a little feminine every once in a while, or break gender roles, or wear a dress and a big hat on Pride Festival Day, and prance around in heels, with everyone else, because it's not necessarily about flaunting your sexuality. It's about flaunting your difference. It's about being you, regardless of what everyone else thinks, and not to be a spectacle, but to be you, to to acknowledge that you have the right to exist in this world, that you have a purpose, and that your place on this earth matters regardless of what anyone else wants to say about it. And all the bullying that happened or that happens every day happens to a lot of people just because they're different. I mean, it happens to LGBTQ people in a little bit more obvious fashion, but it happens to people of color and to women and, to people with disabilities. And we live in a society today that the range of being normal is so small, but the reality is the range of normal is huge. Huge. We're all normal. As long as we're true to ourselves and we acknowledge that, regardless of color or sexual orientation or religious preference or affiliation or whatever, gender, disability, ableness, that we have a purpose on this planet, then it will get better. It will get weirder. I mean, it's gotten a lot weirder. Some of the things I've seen in my short life are ridiculous. I could not have imagined the things I've seen in my 24 years, especially the last 6 or so. You will travel to weird places and meet strange people. It will just enlighten your life so much because they are willing to just totally be themselves. And it's fun. It gets fun. Yeah, sure, there are days when I wake up and I don't want to get out of bed because I don't want to be different that day. I want to be just like everyone else, and I want to have, the wife and the 2 kids and the picket fence and the dog, and I realize that that's not going to happen for me because that's not what I want. It's not who I am. You figure out every day when you wake up, you start figuring out who you are. And I think you learn a little bit more about yourself every day that you wake up. So I guess my message is keep waking up. Keep getting out of bed. Keep being yourself no matter what anyone else says or does, or, do it in spite of them. That's what I did for a long time. Do it in spite of the people who hate you. Not to be mean, but to be you and to make them wake up because they have to. So I guess that's it. It gets better, it gets weirder, it gets more fun, it gets different. It doesn't necessarily get easier, but it gets better. So, good night.